guys. We just got done doing chest. Obviously, Marc's looking freaking swole as shit right now. Just got done doing a ton of different chest exercises. We did flat, incline on hammer. We also did incline dumbbell flies, and then we finished over here doing some cable crossovers. And Marc obviously wanted to take his shirt off and go do some poses. Marc's actually looking really good right now. He's actually really, really lean, and it's almost to the point now, because of the fact that he's doing other functional sports, that he's treading that fine line between, how do I eat for his craft. So now he's a bodybuilder, but now he also does like Muay Thai and other things. So it's kind of interesting to see someone such as Marc, travels around a lot, and how has the luxury of eating a certain way, but has to really be meticulous as to how he's going to go about doing both. I think that's really impressive, actually, because we already talked about this before. You're a huge bodybuilding enthusiast, but you also do other hobbies. So it's very well apparent that you're into the weightlifting, but it's also interesting to see how lean you stay. You're always really lean, so that's good. But obviously, you were talking about before, it's kind of a pain in the ass when you're trying to get kicked,
It is, and I will say, I just want to interject. One thing I've never done is actually used a pre-workout intra. And every time I train with Phil, I have accelerate pre, and today I mix accelerate with your branch chains during.
Right.
And the thing is, you ever take a pre-workout, by the end, your pump kind of fades. Throughout this, we've been done for a little bit. It still looks like we're still in the middle of a workout.
Yeah, it's good.
And I got to say now, if you do buy the accelerate, I recommend taking a scoop pre and a scoop during.
Yeah.
I'm going to recommend that because I really think it did help this workout. I really do.
That's really how we designed it. We really wanted you to, obviously you load it, front load, and then you do an intra. I noticed for myself as well, getting ready for the Olympia, that was really important. But also having those branch chains mixed into it also helps during. Obviously having the build during, you can do pre, during, and post. But obviously the goal is, like you said, to have constant energy, so you can obviously stay full, stay pumped throughout the entire workout, almost to the point where you feel like, well, that's it.
Yeah,
we can do more, right? And that's really the key. We didn't want people to feel limited with having a spike and then they crash toward the 20th set.
Yeah,
we wanted to build something to where you don't necessarily have to be a bodybuilder getting ready for a show to take this. Like, you could be some other type of athlete where you feel like, okay, I need to stay pumped, to do other things. Whether it be, okay, I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to go for a run, or I'm going to go for a swim, or I'm going to go box, or whatever. And you still have constant energy, and it's not through high levels of caffeine. So that was something that I'm glad that you were able to feel that.
Yeah.
And obviously you're looking full, and you're holding that fullness than when we started out there.
Yeah.
So that's really good, because obviously for me, I can tell everybody out there, it's like, oh yeah, this is the shit, it works, this and that. And they're like, yeah, Phil, yeah.
It's your company.
Yeah. But obviously the proof is always going to be in the performance. Obviously the good thing is that you're full, but yet you're still showing striation in your shoulders and stuff. So, a lot of the times guys will get full, but it blurs out definition. And you don't really want that. That seems like more of a water pump than anything.
Yeah.
And when you're dieting and whatnot, you want to still be able to see those cuts, right? And we do know for those contest guys, maybe on a 2-day show, here's a hint, maybe if you're a little flat, maybe do a little scoop before you get up on stage.
Yeah.
And you're not even sweating really.
No.
Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive, because I know you drink over a gallon of water a day.
Oh yeah.
So therefore, what's happening? The nutrients are staying within the cells. Obviously, you're not. I'm barely sweating as well. It doesn't mean that you won't. It just means that it's staying within there and keeping you round.
Yeah, and that's perfect. But great chest workout, and just when you utilize the proper supplements, obviously you get protein afterwards and all that. That's what it's all about. But thanks for taking me through that chest workout. Obviously,
yeah, it was fun.
And as you see, we got a hellacious pump. We got good weight, and we didn't use the standard powerlifting movements. We didn't use any barbells. So for those of you concerned about injuring yourself, I always look at this as a risk reward. So if you get 5% better results using a barbell bench press, if you actually get injured like I have, that sets you back 50%. So is the 5% worth risking the 50? I'm one of the, when you get to a certain level, you just don't want to get snapped up.
You definitely don't. And this is to remind guys that there's multiple options. You don't necessarily have to listen to anything we have to say. You can say, you know what, I like doing barbell everything. Fine. However, there's going to be some guys that have, oh, my shoulder hurts or this and that. What do you do for this and that, and the other? And they're going to say, well, I can't grow a chest because I have to do barbell. There's going to be someone in the gym. There's going to be someone watching this telling you on the chat room saying, that's BS. You're going to get bigger chest if you're going to do this. Well, that may be the case, but you may get injured, like what you're saying, and you cannot disprove or refute that you can't still grow with dumbbells and good machines. I mean, there's a lot of, like when it comes to machines, one thing I have to address is there's this thing called scientists that went into engineering to actually build these machines. Mm-hmm. They didn't just say, okay, well, let's just draw this stuff up. I mean, you can tell that there's a lot of geometry, a lot of mathematics that went into this.
On the hammer strength.
Absolutely.
You look at the incline, like you look at the video we did, what you're going to see, the angle, it's not just, it's literally coming at your body's natural arc.
For sure.
And I'll tell you what, at the end of the day, your muscle doesn't know. You're pushing out and exerting force. Mm-hmm. That's all your muscle knows. Your muscle doesn't know. All it knows is that I'm not locked in this position and my shoulder's not compromised. Yeah. And also another thing for you bigger guys, like for guys who don't have invisible lats or who actually have lats, for a bench press for you, what I've learned, I can't do a proper bench press because proper bench press, you're tucking your elbows in. Yeah. Try tucking your elbows in. This is about as far as I can go. I'm still in a compromised position here. Now those guys who have less lats can obviously come down here. Mm-hmm. I can only bring the bar down to here if I do that. So that's literally this. Yeah. But if you're gonna actually, if you have lats, again, train to what your body mechanics dictate. And if your body mechanics can't sustain a proper bench press, you're probably gonna snap your shit up. That's what I've learned. I used to be able to bench great. When I broke powerlifting records at 19 years old. I also didn't have these. These are the biggest hindrance to bench pressing that I've had. I could press a lot of weight, but every third day I do bench, I'm snapping something up. So again, it's one of those things where you got to kind of weigh the positive and negatives. Obviously, for all you newbies out there, I do still recommend you focus on the big three: the bench, you focus on the deadlift, and the squat. I think we all started like that.
Oh, absolutely. As
you progress, then you start tailoring the movements to what your body's become. And that's something that people say, oh, well, Ronnie did this, or Phil does this, or Kai, or whatever. Everybody does this, and it's wrong. It's like, you gotta realize these guys have been training for 15, 20 years, and this is years of evolving with their body. If you train like you did as a beginner and you don't evolve with it, you're gonna hurt something as you progress, as you have weaknesses or deficiencies or things sprout, or you get injuries you have to train around, or you find out you're weak genetically in some area. I mean, it's just, you gotta, don't go against your gut. If your gut tells you that you're not meant to do that, or if you notice something, just think about it before you say, okay, because I'm one of those guys, up until a month ago, I always threw bench press back in. It's my fourth fucking pec tear. I'm done. It took me 4 pec tears, like partial.
Yeah, partial.
Because we're all raised with that whole, you have to do bench, you have to do deadlift, you have to do squats. That's what I was raised on.
Well, I think it's important that at some point in time you have instinctive training, and you allow yourself the grace of listening to yourself and saying, look, like, I would love to do what he's doing. He's my best friend, training partner and stuff, but I'm going to do this because this is what I'm good at, and this is what I feel is going to yield this result. And that's okay, and that allows us to be individuals, but yet still have a team concept, encouraging one another in the gym. But there's really no point into rupturing a tendon, ruining joints, just based off of ego. And I think that's something that only happens after you bust your shit up a few times. And you have to implement some type of conventional wisdom. Overall, I think, like, I could tell people on the camera, it's like, I don't deadlift when you see me deadlift, but I've grown my back since I started off as a pro to one of the best backs in the world. How did I do that? Well, I utilized movements like the bent rows, seated rows, a lot of rowing movements. Well, you say, well, why don't you do deads from the floor? Well, it's like, I did at one point, when I was getting ready for my pro card, and I realized, gosh, I was really hurting my neck trying to pull this sucker up, and my form just wasn't as good as I had wanted to be. And after, deadlifting over 5-6 plates, really? Was it, seriously, pulling from the floor, was it going to grow my abdomen as well? Because I saw a lot of powerlifters, and I was like, none of them really have the V taper that I want. And you're going to enhance your core a little bit too much. You're going to engage it. Same with guys that are doing like super heavy, squats. Back squats, I noticed the same thing. Hips get engaged a certain way. My hips don't engage that way, so I started doing more front squats or whatever. Doesn't mean that you abandon it completely. I still can do, deadlifts. I can still do them from the rack as well. And you just learn how to apply different methods and stuff to your madness, so then you get those muscles to look a certain way. Now, if I was powerlifting or doing strongman, I would train completely different. But for what I'm doing, I'm able to dispel a lot of things that people probably even read in magazines pertaining to the fact that not just being gifted, but the fact is I'm engaging the muscle and through constant tension and good repetition, making sure that I'm doing it right.
Yeah.
That's really the key to all this. That's the reason why we make the videos. We're not so-called experts, but we are, because the proof is, again, in the performance. It's like, how can you refute what we're doing when the proof is how I look? And you may not necessarily apply 100% to you, but it allows you to realize it is possible.
Yeah.
Right now, we're over at one of the ab machines that I like to do. Obviously, whether it be off season, as of right now, I'm off season. You still want to keep your core good. As you know, that when we were training, we wanted to make sure we had constant tension, but actually being able to breathe correctly. And what we were talking about earlier is being able to relax all the other muscles, like in your face and this and that. I mean, you can some exercise you can, but to be able to relax everything and focus just on the muscle. So having that mind-muscle connection.
So basically, what we're going to segue to here is Phil's top ab exercises, what he likes to do for six-pack abs, which are something everybody's interested in. So what we're going to do here is we're going to segue. The next video you're going to see coming up will be Phil Heath's secret to six-pack abs. Stay tuned for that, because six-pack abs, Mr. Olympia, that's not a game.